How are you this morning? We've got some great guests for our first panel today from a little show you might know called PrettyLittleLiars. Sasha Pieterse, Hugh and Ian Harding, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Guten Morgen.
How are we doing?
How's everybody doing? So, just like the whole weekend, if you have a question for the gang, I see there's already a queue over on the left side by Jennifer. Just head on over to our left, your right, and you can ask questions. I want to, because I have the three of you here, I want to check and make sure I have my facts straight. So I have like weird trivia from each of, well, I don't know if it's weird or not, but Sasha, your parents were acrobats, is that right?
Kind of.
Okay.
So they were professional dancers.
Okay,
they
good.
were a specialty act. So at the time, they did a lot of. You're talking about the microphone condom. Are we supposed to take it off?
No, we're supposed to leave it up.
We're supposed to keep it on. Keep it wrapped. They did a lot of training.
You're gonna get pregnant if you're gonna make that on there.
It's a good start, right? They did a lot of tricks. So they did a lot of lifts and tricks. They did a lot of.
I'm sorry, you just said tricks and we were talking about sex.
I mean, that's how I came into this world. I don't know why. Let's be honest. They did a lot of really cool things that most dancers now just know how to do. So it's more common now, but you know, back then, making them sound well. Back then, it was a specialty, and so they got hired to do their specialty.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yes
So
and
that's
no.
kind of,
Yes and no.
but like in German it's yeah.
It's an exaggerated truth, and they will like that.
They probably could do acrobatics if they tried.
I mean, they basically.
Don't diminish their potential.
No, it's true. They basically, I mean, my dad likes to say that he threw my mom around for a living. It's fair. It's a fair point.
Okay. Hugh, you played for the St. Louis Rams for like 10 minutes.
Yes.
That's
That's accurate. Yes.
Really?
Yes. St. Louis Rams, for anyone who doesn't know, because you probably don't all follow American football, in fact probably none of you do, are an American football team. I played rugby professionally when I left high school.
You were on the U19 team, weren't you?
Second.
You were on the U19 team for Wales.
Yes, exactly right. Very good with your facts.
See?
And then, very long story, diminished into a sentence. I ended up playing American football and got an NFL agent and was attached to the St. Louis Rams, and it's the whole thing. As a kicker, and if anyone does watch American football, you realize it's very unimpressive. I could just kick a ball far. This is not impressive at all. It's pretty much the least athletic thing you could do in American football. But as soccer fans or football fans, which I'm sure many of you are, it is actually quite impressive. So yeah.
Except that position, if you mess up, like you can win or lose a game.
Yeah.
Like back home, did people hate you or love you for playing American football?
I think they thought I was a bit of a sellout, if I'm honest. But they still do, so it's okay. He's an actor. Look, he's definitely a sellout. So yeah, but yeah, that's a true
I
story.
grew up on rugby, and now I really love it.
And your parents love rugby? Rugby is impressive. Rugby is super impressive.
Rugby is very impressive.
Which is why I stopped playing it quickly, because they realized it was just not
Because nobody wants.
It was really hard. It was brutal. I mean, really. Just
all the time.
yeah. So anyway, so I went and just ran around, kicked balls and stuff. It was great. What's Ian's fact?
Oh, Ian's, you're gonna love that. Well, they probably already know it. You were born in Germany.
I was, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was born in Heidelberg.
Who's from Heidelberg? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. I saw
Going to the back,
one
like-
hand. Heidelberg didn't show up for their prodigal son. That's fun. Yeah, no, I was, and I mean, we lived there for about 3 years, and then went back to the States. But I have like a bunch of very random memories about it. There was this thing that I loved to get, and I think apparently I was a cute baby, or I also I had a large head, and so I think people, or at least the German folks, thought there might be something a little off with me, and so
They were right.
Yeah, which was accurate. You're very astute as people. They basically, I would get this thing called spaghetti ice.
Yeah.
They would send that to me all the time. So whenever I think of Heidelberg, or even like walking around like another German city, and I see a place that has spaghetti ice, like I have this weird sort of reaction to it.
What is spaghetti?
Because I've
I don't know
never
what spaghetti
heard
ice
of
is. What is it?
It's basically ice cream that's been, I guess,
Pushed in.
Like Play-Doh, like one of those
Yes,
Play-Doh
yes,
machines.
exactly.
And they sent this to you because your head was big?
They were like, well, we
You know how
pity
these
this
people-
child. Something.
He was like the
with
kid
him.
with the helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did people, in Heidelberg, are you known? Did they have like a monthly kind of thing where people could come and like touch your head?
And there was, and then I also think my parents just looked exhausted because I basically have had this depth of voice from the uterus, basically. Like I came out and I was like, where am I? And they're like, oh my God, So I think people were like, we don't know if we should fear him. Like, is he some sort of evil genius? I don't know how we went from like, you were born in Heidelberg to like,
I'm a demigod.
yeah. Well, I guess that would be appropriate here at like Comic-Con, Final Fantasy, and the
Definitely.
evil villains and whatnot. But yeah, to answer your question from 40 minutes ago, yeah, I was born here.
Brilliant.
And that's
I could
the
have
end
just
of
said
the
that.
And that's just thank you.
Have you actually? This is a question for you, which is just I don't know if this ever happens at Comic-Con. I think. Have you had people up here when you like, let's say, oh, you were born in Germany, and they go, yeah.
Oh yeah, I have that all the time.
And then just silence. That happens often.
We don't end up talking about that massive head.
Yeah, that's true. We don't talk about spaghetti ice, a huge raining.
Talking in his conversations.
That's conversations.
Which
Yeah.
You're very well. It's done a very good job.
I mean, round of applause for these great facts. I feel like, they
Yeah,
feel very well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well researched.
But it's only like 2.5 right, so.
Well researched.
Yeah, I think he did very well.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But, more importantly, we've got some people on the side that have been dying for the last 90 minutes.
It's a much
asking
less intimidating question. Well, now with the spotlight, it's actually more intimidating. But
No pressure.
yesterday, the microphone was like right here in the other stage, like right now. It was like, intimidating.
Pressure.
Hello, first of all.
Hello.
Since we just talked about Germany and you are in Germany right now, I wanted to ask you if you can speak some words in German.
Oh yikes! This is about to be so offensive and embarrassing. I usually stick with the basics, like ich liebe dich, wie heißt du? And I get this wrong. Actually, this morning, I was trying to, and this happens a lot, where I try to speak with a native speaker just a little bit, or at least to try, and it usually goes pretty horribly wrong. And like I was chatting with somebody at a hotel, and she, said like, oh, and what's the room number? And I was like very proud, and I said a room number, and I think she charged somebody else because I did get it right. And she was like, and this is, and like as I was leaving, she was, like, they're like, have a good day, Mr. Smith. Something. I was like, oh, like this. But I didn't want to correct her because I didn't want to look like an idiot, because I can't count, which feels like when you take German, like you learn how to count,
But to be fair, the numbers are backwards, so it's not 23, it's 3 and 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High and fancy.
But it actually makes sense if you just can figure it out, the thing I do love about the German language is just, especially for these towns, like I forget where I was years ago, I rented a car and was driving through the country, and you see the signs for certain towns that have like 40-letter And I just feel so bad, especially when you see there are other towns in this direction that are called like, you know, Han or something. It's like three letters, and then the town right above it, it's clear they've made the rest of the sign huge just for that one town. It's like, you know, and it's, I love it. So.
Well, I will say, I do commend, we went out to dinner on a Friday night, and Ian, he has a good grasp of German, and really tries to interact with people in German, which is endearing, I think, when you go to foreign countries, unless you go to Paris, and they're like, I hate you. No offense to Paris, I love Paris. But he's like, but then when you don't know a word, so Ian's like, can I have a dirty martini? And then like look it up, like, yeah, okay. It's like, but it's good. I do commend that he's led the line for us here.
Definitely do. I know basically nothing. Like it's
Nine.
Yeah.
But then something shows up on our table, and we're all kind of like, we didn't order this. But again, to my ego, like, yeah, we did. You wanted the blood sausage. Is what you wanted, so that's what we got. I think it's pasta. I'm like, yeah, this is pasta.
And I won't even try.
You know, it's not.
Not because I
But
don't.
long answer to your question, but yes, somewhat.
But danke für deine Frage.
Genau.
You have a 4-year-old's vocabulary. Come on.
I would love to learn more though. See, that's the thing. I need to, because I want to keep coming back to see you guys.
When I text you.
Okay, so kind of related to her question, I wanted to ask what's your favorite German food is?
Yeah, favorite German food. Currywurst. Ganz gut. This has made me bad, and sorry to the vegetarians here. I try and eat, you know, vegetable forward as much as I can. But when I'm here, Schweinehaxe. Yeah, it's great. And you can tell that it's a good Schweinehaxe when if it's fried and you stab into it and the fat oozes out onto Brot or or the Spätzle sometimes. And you mix it together and then you eat it and then your chest instantly hurts. I don't know how any of you live past the age of 42.
I agree with that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's so good, and then like you get like a giant, you know, stein of, you know, Weinstefano or Franz, and I'm like, you know, it's great. That's my favorite. What about you?
I used to eat meat. Now I'm a vegetarian. I used to love a good schnitzel, but now I don't.
What I was gonna say.
Eat anymore. Sorry, learning new German word. But no, now I don't know. I don't know. Vegetables are just not that exciting. Is there a great vegetable dish in Germany that I'm missing? Maybe there is. Is there one? Do you know? I don't know. Is there a great vegetable dish that
I think German, I'm vegetarian and I never eat out enough to know what.
I feel like Germany is very meat. It's very meat forward.
Yeah,
it is very burst forward.
Or there's the fun thing that sometimes you will go out and you're like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get something vegetarian, and they're like, absolutely, we'll bring you a vegetarian menu, and you get it, and there's fish on it, and you're like, yeah, that's vegetarian. Like, you're not eating a cow or a pig.
Pescatarian.
There you go.
I don't think they make a separate pescatarian menu because then.
True, but
Anyway,
apart from schnitzel, what's your favorite German food? Don't disappoint them.
he likes putting me on the spot.
Don't disappoint them.
He's being a jerk. I really don't know. No, honestly. You know what's silly is that the restaurants we've been to aren't even German the last 2 days.
Well, that's not going to impress them.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's really. It's
Glühwein.
It's not good.
Oh yeah, Glühwein is a good. Glühwein. You like Glühwein?
I do. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
That counts
At the Christmas market. Oh no.
you consume it, right?
made from grapes.
Made from grapes.
That sounds like something that I would thoroughly.
It's one of your 5 a day, right? If you have Glühwein.
I think so.
Technically.
I think that counts.
I really do apologize.
Sorry, we'll go out tonight.
I'm
We'll get
barely
her Schweinehaxe,
used to
and then she'll cry. Yeah, so I think the consensus is Schweinehaxe. And I just want to keep saying that phrase over and over again. And I might be getting it wrong, but yes. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. Sorry we took so long to answer them. Just talking.
What a brave answer.
Sorry for the long-winded answer. Just kidding.
I'm Alexa, and my question is, what is your favorite quote from PrettyLittleLiars?
Wait a
If
minute.
it's from your character, that's fine, but it's also... If it's from someone else, that's fine too.
Your name is Alexa.
Yes,
We
yes.
should all ask you a question.
That's a good point. It's so sweet.
Yeah,
So the favorite.
She's like, I haven't heard that one before.
never.
That's a good question. I'm gonna start because I know what it is. Just like you, Alice, calm as a bitch. It was like such a great line. I love that
You
line.
just liked
I love
saying
that.
that to
It
me.
was great. I still say it to her now. I just substitute Alison for Sasha.
I think, well, I think just because it was such a fun scene to film too. Well, I guess I had two. The first one is, did you miss me? Because it was one of those things that Troy and she just thought it was so cheesy, but she loved the hair flip that I had to do. You know, very dramatic, but it was a really good line. Immortality, my darlings, that's a big one, but I like the shy on the streets, sexy in the sheets. That's one thing that I said to Emily, and I remember kind of not believing that we were actually going to say that, because it was pretty early on and it seemed really racy.
And you were like 12.
I was, yeah. But I love it. I don't know. Ali had some really good lines.
It's like, I don't remember it.
I don't remember them while I'm saying them.
You're still thinking about the German food.
Yeah, I'm still thinking like, could I put some sort of like berry sauce on the Schweinehaxelator? Or like, does it go well with like a Weiss beer or, you know, like a dark beer? Dunkel?
Didn't
Yeah,
you
that's
have
what
like
I'm
a funny pie line?
What's that?
Didn't you have like a funny pie line?
Well, actually, the thing that immediately came to my mind that I thought was really hilarious was Troyan's line, you know, and there's just Spencer slutting it up, and or something like that. And just the way she said it, was really, I thought, hilarious. Or, oh God, I loved when Shay would have to say anything. I loved being present for it.
Well, you also loved the way that she, like, if there was any Canadian accent that came from her mouth.
Oh yeah, whenever
Yeah.
Shay was just, you know, her character grew up in Pennsylvania, and then she's like, oh, sorry. I was like, you know,
Gotcha.
there it is.
Gotcha.
So I don't know, that doesn't answer your question. Basically, anything that came out of Shay Mitchell's mouth.
This also doesn't
my
answer your
favorite.
question, but
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
So,
Hello.
I love reading, so I was wondering, what are your book recommendations?
onward.
Nice. Well, it's heavily discounted on Amazon right now, so you can probably find it for cheap. Yeah, you know, the silver lining of the pandemic, you got a lot of reading done. Oh man, yeah, there's a bunch. I just read, it's an older book by an author named Tana French called The Witch Owl. It was really great. Really love like Sally Rooney's books. Oh God, what was the most recent one that I read? I do have a lot of time on my hands. There's tons. Anything by Hugh Collins? Or are you out in the
Just
We're just engrossed in this.
you shouldn't be. I'm literally just listing.
Don't look at me. She asked you. Look at her.
he's listening every
Barbara.
It depends on, I mean, this could truly become a conversation just between you and I. Are we going to see you at a signing thing later? Because I can give you like a list of 50. And because if I continue now, people are just going to be bored out of their minds. But like, I don't know if I really felt the character was fully lived in, you know. People are like, Jesus, shut up, talk about the show. So yeah, I'll tell you when I see you next. Hopefully that gives you some ideas. Yeah.
I can't wait for those 50 books.
Yeah.
Oh shit, she's gone. We both just have a normal answer.
There's a book called Burn, and I'm trying to remember the author's name, but it's actually very fascinating because it's about the difference between humans and apes and the way that they burn calories, and they always thought that they were very similar, and they're actually very different. That's the short way of saying it, but it breaks down how your body works in a way that nobody until the last 5 years has figured out, or has realized, yeah. So it's rather fascinating, and he goes to different places in the world. He goes to tribes that are basically untouched and sees the way they test how their bodies work and what they survive on, and really fascinating things. So it's fairly scientific, but the way that he writes is pretty great. Other than that, we were talking about the things that we've read recently. Other than that, I was pregnant and raising a little baby, so
You've been busy?
anything. I've been a little busy.
You've been reading ABC books.
Exactly.
I have a short answer. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde is my favorite book, and if you haven't read it, you should read it. It's amazing. Thanks.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
Dorian,
Hi. I was wondering if you could show me your favorite dance move, because I felt like in PrettyLittleLiars there was a lot of dance balls with very little dancing, so I was wondering if you could show me some.
I'm a big chair dancer fan.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with lap dancing, but I'm a big fan of, like, if I'm at a wedding or something like that, and people are like, it's time to dance, and you look around and the dance floor is still pretty deserted. I'm like, not yet. But you try and like get people in the mood, so you're kind of like, like you point your foot towards the dance floor. You're kind of like doing this. So it's like, okay, he's thinking about it. He's thinking about going.
You've never sounded more white than this moment right now
Just
in
like,
the world.
Or maybe do like a, something like that.
Veel in particular. That's I don't think I've ever done that.
Thank you.
The floss, right? Can you do the floss?
The floss.
The floss is the
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, I can barely do it.
How does that work? How do you do the floss? Like this?
But one of your
Yeah, there you go.
No, like-
That was
almost had
really
it.
close. Yeah.
Wait,
You almost had it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I can't.
I appreciate
I did
that.
like half a floss.
This isn't about me, but my also not white. My husband at wedding.
Very white.
He's very white. He loves to do the worm at weddings.
The worm.
He's actually very good at it.
In his honor, when you.
No, absolutely not.
Please demonstrate.
No, absolutely not. I literally.
I don't think you would enjoy watching us perform our favorite dance
Definitely
moves,
not.
because in
A little bit of a
isolation.
blessing, particularly Hugh's, you know.
It is too
Like
bright,
shake
and there
that
is
ass.
not enough alcohol.
Do you have? I guess your favorite dance move is the shaky footy at the dance.
Shaky foot thing. I used to be somewhat good at the worm, but then I turned.
Can one be good or bad at the worm? I mean, is it just?
Yes, you can. You can hit the floor the wrong way, and you are not having children. Like there's, or you shatter your
like
hip.
break your nose, or you.
Oh, really?
That's
Not great. No, not great.
Hopefully, you haven't been doing the worm right.
never done the worm.
No, I haven't done the worm. No, I haven't. It's a great question. I don't have a favorite dance move, and I don't think.
Maybe you dance.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, get down. I'd like to get down.
Yeah, that like.
No one's like, oh, and then you get on there like, oh, don't just. You just like skip it.
You know, but the guys kind of have it easy because
We do.
at a club you
In
can just
everything.
literally do
Yeah.
this.
In everything we have
Like you
easy.
said.
I text Sasha yesterday before we came and was like, oh, like what are you wearing? You know, not in like a weird way, like send a pic, like as in like what's like the vibe kind of thing.
Nice.
Because you want to be like you want to just kind of all be appropriately like you don't want one of you to show up one way or the other. We didn't end up actually doing that, and I was like. But for guys, it's so easy. I was like, oh yeah, just like white jeans and a black t-shirt, which is totally acceptable. But then for women, it's like there's a different expectation, and I don't think that's right. Of like, oh, you have to be dressed that way. Pop a t-shirt on, and some black jeans. And everyone's like, oh yeah, appropriate. And it's just it's a wild thing. And we could get into a whole conversation about, misogyny and equality and sexuality
I like
and stuff.
dressing
But,
up.
you know, yeah.
I like dressing
No,
up.
and I love that.
But
I
you're
also
right.
love dressing up too.
I definitely.
But it should be like, oh, because I want
Expected.
to dress up.
It's
Not because everyone's going to be like, oh, what's up with her? 'Cause she didn't fucking, sorry to swear, but didn't, dress up as I envisioned. It's like, don't really care about your vision, if I'm honest. Anyway, sorry, it doesn't answer the question about the dancing at all, but, we have scratched the surface of an equality debate. So.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
You too.
Well, gang, that was brilliant. That was
So are we
fun.
done?
I think brilliant is probably is a stretch,
It's generous.
but it was a moderately good start to the day.
I think so.
Who's next on here?
The one.
Well, the one, is it Ricky Winton and Chelsea?
Ricky and Chelsea and
Oh Jesus, that's a disaster. I'm so glad we're not going after them. They have so much fucking
They have so
energy.
much energy,
I swear
yeah.
to God. Are they
They're gonna be
behind us?
way more fun than us. It's a little annoying.
I'm glad we're going before them.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna have a great time with them.
I'm
They
just
will
glad
show
that
you
this is
something.
already over. I feel like it's gonna be a little longer.
I felt like
Did we
it
just
could be longer too, but then Ian started to.
right?
Yeah. Whoever asked the dance question, ask that to Ricky and Chelsea.
think we
Could I just have one question, please?
Oh, for fuck's sake, here it is.
I haven't seen Hugh for a long time, and he's got a really sexy mustache. And I just know that I'm probably not the only one in this room that wants to know, does it feel that smooth on other lips? You beautiful, beautiful man.
I'm so glad you're here.
And also, did someone say dancing?
Yeah.
The two of you give me a lot of joy.
I genuinely can't tell you how glad I am that you're going after us. I meant that sincerely before I knew you were here.
I like
to
how he's
answer your
completely
question-
I don't
the
mind
question.
coming second, it's fine. You go right ahead.
Listen, your reputation precedes you. I'll give you Molly's number and she can answer the question about the mustache.
I was gonna say his wife, I think. Yeah.
It'll be an interesting
Yeah.
Bill,
conversation.
are you cheating on me?
I am. I'm sorry, Ricky. This is the moment I'm going to reveal. But what I would say is, it's actually just because I only just hit puberty about 6 months ago, and I'm overcompensating to make sure that people realize that transition has occurred.
You're a beautiful, beautiful man.
Just so we're clear, his wife is way hotter than he is.
Oh, considerably. Yeah, I'm batting above my
I
averages.
mean that with love.
Nice to see you, Ricky. Nice to see you, Chelsea. Chelsea was our car mate yesterday. We hadn't met before. And me and Ian talked her ear off about politics, and I bet she was just thinking, for fuck's
She
sake.
Are you
just asked
surprised?
our names,
Why
and I was
did I
like,
get
that's
in
the
the
thing
car?
about,
And we're like, well, hey, what about Trudeau? You're from Canada. And she's like, oh,
no,
fuck me.
I just- I'm-
I've had a heavy night, and frankly, these two dicks in the back are just
Yeah.
chewing my ear off.
And then I think we asked her really stupid American questions. We're like, Canada, huh? So you like maple syrup? It's like, what?
And poutine, yeah.
You know we were gonna be so inappropriate.
Yeah, sorry. We should go. I think
Hey,
we're
they're here. They're ready to go.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.